they described it as the strongest frame in all of the game. If you guys know the game, I mean, I think the whole idea of pickup artistry is kind of evolving nowadays. It's becoming much more spiritual.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumed.
Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast
with Ivan and Sumed.
How are you guys doing? It's been a
Namaskaram. Welcome back. İyi geceler, which that means good night in Turkish.
Why do you appreciate people good night, bro? Started.
Because this fucking episode is about to fucking knock out your reality. You're gonna go to fucking sleep. You know that old reality? It's going night-night. It's going night-night.
True, man. Bro, I just went through freaking cyclone, like, up in here. Like, it was wild.
Damn.
It was really... Yeah, so I couldn't be there for the last interview, which was a great podcast. You guys should check that out. Rainier Wild. And, yeah, man, there was, like, water coming in through the windows. Like, so wild. Like,
bro, that totally sucks. But I feel like you're going to use it for your dad frame later in the future.
True. Once upon a time.
You're going to tell a story. You're going to be sitting there. You're going to be telling a story. You're going to be like, I survived the fucking, the water coming in. Like you'll paint this picture where it's like, we did not know if our entire floor was going to drown. And the water, it filled up all of the rooms high up in the 14th floor, and it flooded it, and it washed all the water down the stairs, filling all the other rooms.
Yeah.
People, like some people, you know, they were scared, but not me, you know. I got a canoe, and I went in the stairs, and I used it as a slide.
Yeah. Flow is arc.
Flow is arc, God.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Sumed's got this thing called dad bod. I mean, no, he's dad frame. He's got a dad bod, too. But a dad frame.
Yeah, that's right. So I was recently reading this book called Dad Frame. I don't know the guy's name. I think it's Walter something. But yeah, it's a really interesting book because it introduces this concept of dad frame. And what dad frame is essentially, it's like a role that you put on during interacting with a woman. So it's basically like a role play. It's a game. It's a mindset shift. And yeah, it was just really interesting because it described it as the strongest frame in all of the game. If you guys know the game, I mean, I think the whole idea of pickup artistry is kind of evolving nowadays. It's becoming much more spiritual and more about like male-female dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
You say that?
Yeah, I would definitely say so because, I mean, the mystery method, although it was successful and it helped so many people understand, it's very robotic, and a lot of people have mentioned that, and not everyone, you know, feels comfortable doing canned lines, and I mean, it takes out all the fun out of it, you know, the sporadicness of the moment, the femininity of the moment, the creation, and it's like you're attracting a certain kind of woman at that point, you know, with that specific skill set, right? And for me, my style of you know, they call it game, you know, and you can basically say that game is the way that you play in this reality, right? And are you winning that game or are you losing that game? Right? So how are you playing in this reality? And I'm the kind of person that Um, I like to talk about what like spiritual shit, evolution, consciousness, fucking, that shit. And like the way they taught game, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good as sort of like kind of like training wheels, like when you have training wheels on a bike, but then you take it off and then you start riding it by yourself. So I think the mystery method kind of set that up, which is great to have that kind of, framework for evolutionary psychology and all this kind of stuff that, you know, Eric von Markovich, that's his name, I think, mystery, um, that he set out, So yeah, it was a good starting point, but now things are definitely evolving, and there's a lot of like, new types of people in the game, quote unquote. Um, and yeah, this is a really interesting type of frame, man, because I feel like once you try this out, like this dad frame, once you have somebody there that plays along with this, it means that she's essentially stepped into your frame, right? So that means you have kind of this sense of a leadership role, this kind of position where you're a man who's treating the woman like your daughter, right? So that's kind of the basic idea of it. And a lot of women didn't have like a strong father figure growing up, so dad frame has no certain age, and if you think you're a young guy and the woman that you're trying to, seduce is older than you, you want to incorporate this kind of frame as if you become even more older, even more refined. Like you envision yourself as an older man, essentially. Much more mature, much more refined. So, and also it's like incorporating like fatherly characteristics, like protectiveness, not taking her bullshit. Um, yeah, all sorts of things like nicknames, so this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that totally. I mean, I feel like maybe some people freaked out whenever you said that you act like her dad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's important to clear this up, that
Yeah.
women, when they're looking for a man, they're looking for someone that's, if they had a really good dad, they want somebody like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But very much they're gonna want somebody that's even better than that, right? Even better than that, right? She wants to take on new new values, right? New things that are more important now. She wants to go up in life, right? And I mean, like, let's just say like there are girls that grew up in like, with millionaire dads, right? They're gonna want somebody that's a very much a high stakes person. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but someone who's living life large, right? The reason that a lot of girls end up dating the same douchebag kind of guy is because they keep coming back to what is familiar, right? What is familiar to you, right? And that just depends on who your father was, who was the male figure showing you, right? Showing you the ropes. Because women, their mind is like, woo, yeah, crazy, sad, happy, crying, mad, right?
Feminine. Yeah.
They're very wee. And men are very like like boxes, right? Like this is even proven in memory. Like the reason that women will bring up some shit from the fucking they'll bring something up is because for them their memory is like a string, right? It's like a continuous little ball of yarn that's continuously growing, right? But men, our brains, we compartmentalize the world, right?
Yeah.
Here's like relationships, here's like finances, here is like the house, right? Here is like the dog, here's like the car payments. Like it's like everything is inside boxes. Here's fashion, right? Here's art, right? It's like boom boom boom boom boom. It's all together like in different boxes. But for women, it's all like one continuous thing. So that's what men do in women's life. We create structure in which their weeness grows around. It's like, oh my gosh, I just got it. It's like a house, right? The man builds this really nice house, right? And then you got these like branches, right? The ones that grow up, like those vines, like those, like, I just feel like Italian style, these vines growing up. They got there. That's what it is. That's the nature growing around the house, around the structure.
Yeah. What I imagine when you're saying the string thing, bro, what was going through my brain was like the Ouroboros, like the snake eating its own tail for some reason. And like, it's weird to imagine because it's like the same guy who like came up with the benzene molecule, right? He saw this image of the snake or whatever to like think of this molecule, and like how we randomly have just images like pop into our head of what we've been reading or we've been seeing or seeing in our dreams, and randomly they just come up, like. So I kind of lost what you were saying back then about the vines, but you were talking about like how men compartmentalize, right? Like how we have like different, like a spatial organization, right? We have like our home and the home life, and then we have our work life. We sort of just keep it separately, whereas women are sort of cluster it all together. You're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like how guys want to experience this kind of pure consciousness, or this kind of like ego death, almost. It's like a guy would be happy to get blackout drunk, for instance, right? Whereas a woman would drink to have much more femininity, much more looseness, or not looseness, I wouldn't say that, but it's like more fun, it's more flirty, it's more like we again, right? So even the different tasks that we give ourselves has a different kind of way that we see it. And the same with like, if a man goes to, and I was reading this in David Data's book, Enlightened Sex, he was saying that like men want to go to Hawaii to experience feminine energy of the trees moving, right? The hula, the aloha kind of culture, right? Of the feminine. Whereas a woman who would like crave the masculine, she would like go to New York and the busy hustle mentality of like, going forward in the world. So she's actually craving that masculine energy through the environment itself, which I thought was very interesting, how environments can also hold a very like, essence.
That's cool. Actually, me and my girlfriend, we're gonna move to Hawaii, like probably next year for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Hawaii.
Cause coconuts, papayas, watermelons, tropical life.
Tropical, yeah.
We're gonna have a kid and shit. And then so actually, when it comes to girls drinking, I think it has to do more so for less control, right? The act of less control is more feminine, right? It's like the ocean, right? The ocean, it's got emotion, it's got a direction, but it's not really something that is like, it's got a lot of direction, a lot of like structure to the ocean. The ocean's like, big old waves, little waves, especially like in the middle of the ocean. For men, I think they drink more for courage. They're aiming to be able to be more free, in a way more feminine, and be more themselves, right? But also be able to be a bit, I guess it is very similar as to reasons why people drink, right?
Yeah, it is. I just feel like for men, they want to experience that pure consciousness of zoning out. You know what I mean? Just like being able to be in that silence or not be in that kind of emotion. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying now. Yeah, like those guys that get blackout drunk, it's very similar to Zen masters whenever they just fucking go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Totally silent. Yeah.
It's just like a cheat code way of trying to get there. It's like getting to that Zen state. And actually, some people, compare the state of drunkenness to a state of that kind of bliss in terms of Zen. So I totally get that. But yeah, so basically, like, in terms of this dad frame, I was just thinking like, there must be some kind of a reason why we have like these, especially in pornography, like you have these incest and stepdad and all this kind of stuff, being popularized. And I think it's because of this repressed energy. Because in regular life, a woman is suppressed to bring down her inner child in a lot of situations. It's like she's taught to, look after the home life, or like not being able to bring that play. And especially, like, some people could see that as like maybe promiscuous or something, but it's not like, it never comes out, in real life, that kind of having her inner child come out and play. So when you were stepping into dad frame, you were giving her permission to be your inner child again. I mean, access that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That safety of whatever she expresses, whatever she's going through, you're gonna be there no matter what. You're gonna be able to embrace all of her. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I feel that. Something that came to mind thinking about dad frame was let me remember, something came up, but I distracted myself, like, analyzing what you said. Like, I think it had to do
You're in
with
pure consciousness, yeah.
I got it. So I began understanding, like, this chakra imbalance, and like a root chakra imbalance and a crave for sex, right? A lot of guys, their biggest struggle is like I mentioned this in the previous podcast. They'll say things like, how do I talk to a girl?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you just do.
Out, yeah.
You just do, right? But see this, and because what's happening is they'll go in and all they're thinking about is, oh, she's hot, I want to fuck her. Oh, she's hot, I want to fuck her. Oh my gosh, her tits. Oh my gosh, her hair. Oh my gosh, look at her skin, right? They're like, it's just like this constant sexualization of what they are witnessing, right? In a perverted way, you could say, let's just say in a rapey way, in a
creepy way.
unbalanced masculine way, where it's just like it's like you're in survival mode. In survival mode, like an animal is like sex, right? So they're living in their root chakra is in a state of survival mode, right? And I'm looking at my clock right now, and it says 11:33 because I'm fucking spot on with this shit. And when we shift into dad frame, right, that can help a lot of people. That can definitely help so many men that are struggling with this, because like, take a moment, bro, and just stop thinking about sex. Like, take them, like, yeah, sure, you want to fuck her. Yeah, sure, you want to fuck her. Okay, cool, right? That should be more like, I don't know, I wouldn't say like the bigger goal, right? And we should have smaller goals. It's like the way to get to a big goal is to get like smaller goals in between, right? And I wouldn't say having sex is the ultimate goal either, but I'd say it's a bigger goal. It's not something that you should aim for directly. It's like, you're not gonna have sex with someone as soon as you fucking see them, right? So you need to take your mind away from the sex, right, and focus it into how to be in a perpetual state, in a perpetual state of positive energy that attracts somebody that's going to want to have sex with you, right? Now look, listen very closely, everyone, because what I'm saying, you could also apply it in your money. So many people are thinking, how money, money, money, money, money. How can I get the money? How can I get more money, more money, more millions, millions, millions? I'm struggling, right? I'm not there yet, right? When we could be thinking instead, what problem do I got to solve to get that money? How many people do I have to help to get that money, right? You have to think of the in-between steps, right? You're stuck on the big goal. You got to get into the in-between steps. So what are some in-between steps, right? Just being a kind person, right? Kindness is attractive. Kindness is beautiful, right? What's another thing? Having boundaries for yourself, right? Having strong boundaries for yourself, like the dad, he's not gonna take the daughter's bullshit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna be there for her, right? He's gonna help her out, right? Whatever she needs, he's always gonna be there with her. He'll call her randomly, right? Look, watch. I swear, women love when you do this, right? Call them up randomly. Hey, how are you doing? Just want to check on you. How are you feeling?
Like
How's your day going?
Yeah, like
right?
that.
They'll be like, what? Like, this is so random, but this is so nice, right? That's what a dad would do.
Right. You're so right about that. Yeah. It's like not like a dad wouldn't like send, 1,200 emojis and like a random, like he wouldn't be able to use that technology. You know what I mean? Like he'd just be like, what the heck? He wouldn't know what a meme is, He'd just call straight up. He would just call. And he'd be like, are you okay? Like, are you safe? You know what I mean? Like that kind of mentality. And it's so true. Like if a little girl is throwing a tantrum, for instance, a dad isn't going to get fazed by that, right? He isn't going to drop everything that he's doing and like suddenly like, worry about her like not being able to watch Polly Pocket or whatever, right? I don't know. I can't think of a random example like that, but like if she were your daughter, right? Let's say the woman that you're meeting, like if you envision her as your actual daughter, would you put up with her like gorging on donuts all day? You know what I mean? Like, would you put up with her like constantly watching TV and missing the dentist appointment? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't put up with that. So similarly, like she wants that value from you of like, are you caring about her, right, in that way? And I think that's an important element of dad frame that a lot of people are missing out on as well.
That's so
It's
true.
like,
That's so true. Because my girlfriend, after being with me for all these months, she's prettier, she's more attractive, she's more intelligent, right? She's more spiritual. She knows herself more, right? She's more on her purpose, right? Like she's working out more. She's doing workout because she's like, well, I have to be really attractive, from my boyfriend. Like he it's important for us. It's important for him, right? And like she knows. Also, like recently she started up this page called the Health Masters, right? Which is another branch of my parent company, Life Masters. And yeah, dad frame. And then like she's been busy with doing forex and stuff like that, and she hasn't really been too much into like the health stuff and helping people with the health journey, which is part of her journey. It is very important to her purpose. Of course, making the money, the trading is also important, so that we could, do whatever we want, whenever we want, with all the resources that we need. But what happened was, look, I said, look, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna open up a page called Health Masters. I was on the phone with her. She's like, okay. And she's like creating the page, and I was like, and then you're gonna connect it to Facebook, right? And you're gonna make it a business page, right? And she's like, okay. And then later she said, like, this is something that I've wanted to do, but I haven't been doing it because I'm busy, but I'm doing it now because Ivan said so, right? Because I said so, because I told her to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's an important element of this frame too. It's like you inspire that other person to bring out elements that they know are there, but they're dormant or they're latent, right? And yeah, that's a great example that you just gave in your own life, I think that, you know, a lot of people, I think they alternate between love and, you know, attention and like a slight disapproval for somebody. You know, it's important to give her what she needs, not only what she wants. Right?
Hmm.
I think that's a huge element of dad friend too. And if she's like, you know, do you think you're my father? You can be like, "No, don't go questioning our relationship, little girl." You know, like, you know, it's got to be like a role play. You can't take this thing serious, right? Don't actually try to pretend to be somebody's dad. That's kind of weird. But it's the
Mm.
mentality, right? It's the mentality behind it. It's like daddy's home, you know, like big daddy energy. Like,
Mm. Actually, I
yeah,
do tell my girlfriend that I am her dad.
yeah, Father Ivan. It's like, it's that kind of mentality that's like, don't worry, like everything's gonna be okay. Because the dad knows that, right? In the back of his mind, he's like, I know everything's gonna be okay. And when a woman's like, you know, hyper or whatever, it's like, no more sugar for you. You know?
You know, and it also comes to what I'm seeing as I'm gonna figure it out no matter what,
Yeah,
right?
search.
I remember this episode of what is that? How I Met Your Mother. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
And Marshall's dad died, right? And he went back to be with his mom, and he was just feeling like a bit lost, and you know, at that time, and then he was reminiscing on his dad and how he was driving in the night, right? And you couldn't really see that much far ahead, right? Um, but dad was still driving, and he somehow managed to get everybody home. And in that episode, he contacted his dad, you know, as like his spirit self, I think. And the dad said, I never knew what was coming next. I always knew what was right there, and I didn't know how to fully get there, but I knew that I wanted to get you guys home. And I think that's so important, especially when it comes your girlfriend, your wife, your girlfriends. They all need to know your, I mean, your mom, your fucking the people that every single person that is around you needs to know that no matter what, you're gonna find a way to get everyone to a higher level, to a higher intelligence, to more money, to more safety, right? Everybody needs to know this.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And you know, a lot of people think that the answer is to be like, for a lot of people think that the answer to dad frame is just to be a tougher dad, but you also must allow yourself to be a vulnerable dad, right? Because it's like the tougher dad is just spikier. You know what I mean? It's like they both believe that the secret to happiness is to be harder. The woman does in certain relationships, and the man does in certain relationships, right? And there is that aspect of toughness in terms of protection, like this kind of tough love. I call it like carefrontation, right? You want to be confrontational with care. It's like you're like a you're like a loving interruption, right? You're not just having boundaries without any care. It's like a caring boundary or a caring um, sense of protection. And I think that's what really makes the dad framework even better, is if you're able to like keep this sense of vulnerability, like, you know, because what do dads do? They're good listeners as well, right? It's like when the daughter is like, I don't know, I don't have a daughter, you know, I'm just speaking from what I know in terms of like culture and like people I've seen and people I've coached, is that through that kind of relationship in the background, it's like this sense of like the dad is listening, and sometimes maybe he's pretending to listen, you know. But let's say the daughter comes home and she's like, you know, oh my God, you won't believe what happened at school today. Sally said this, and this boy I really liked it. They're like, yeah, uh-huh. And what else? Uh-huh. It's like he's listening, and he's kind of affirming to her that, like, you're allowed to vent, you're allowed to um, express yourself to me. And I'm here to hold that space for you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like one image that came to my mind right now was like certain dads, certain, not even just say dads, just say in general people, they'll be doing something else, right? While they're listening, right? They're
Mm.
like reading the newspaper or watching a game or something. And they'll just like, uh-huh, I'm listening,
Right.
right? They're not actually, they're listening, but they're not being present. And what that person needs is to be observed, to be like all of the attention be on them in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading this book, Indistractability, and they said the opposite of distraction is traction, right? So distraction like pulls you away from your intent, and traction is pulling you towards your intent. So if you intended on doing something and it pulls you away, like some random other thing, that's distraction. But if you decided on doing it, like if you decide to play video games, that's not a distraction, right? That's an intention that you've set. So that's attraction. You're going towards it more. So you want to be like set yourself different boundaries and things that you say you're going to do, and do them in that time that you say that you're going to do them. Because I see a lot of people, especially in the people that I coach, it's like they say they're going to do something and then they do the opposite. It's kind of this hypocrite nature, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym today. You end up playing like Warcraft or something. Like, okay, like, but you set it out into the universe, and that's 1% down on your self-esteem that day, right? It feels like, oh man, I just got distracted. But it's also like it's bigger than that, right? So what a lot of guys have to notice is like you might be pretending to listen, but the benefits of truly like listening, like it is so monumental, right? Then just going, yeah, It's like the head nod, right? With just like, yeah, I think I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you can't even listen to somebody else with all of your presence, that just shows how deeply you can listen to even your own thoughts, fully present, fully listen to all of your thoughts. Because if you can't do it for somebody else, how could you be mindful of your own ideas? You can't. You literally can't.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And the other day I was reading a little bit about like, Vedic philosophy, and basically how the Hindus think of meditation is very different from the Western way of thinking. Because Marcus Aurelius or Descartes, like these people, they talked about meditations as in thinking, or, you know, thinking about doing something, or thinking about reflecting. But meditation is just the state of being, right? So the thing is like, the first step they say is concentration, which is called dharana, which is this kind of setting the intention, right? So it's like the kind of concentration. So that's the doing part. You're doing something, you're concentrating. You're not doing meditation, it happens. You see what I'm saying? Meditation happens as a byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, I'll meditate about it. It's like, it's like this different mindset. And then it's like, you have this becoming process of the in-between of meditation, and then samadhi, this kind of enlightened experience, is you being. So you're going from doing to becoming to being. So meditation
Mm-hmm.
is like the in-between, the becoming part. And what they said as well is like your mind constantly fluctuates between past and future, which is like your memories and your desires. Memories, desires, memories, desires, memories, desires. So you want to come back to the present moment, which is controlling the magnet of the pendulum swing, right? And so, like, for a yogi, the past is just a library, and the future is just like, they plan for the future, but they're not attached to the future. So that sense of presence that you need is really important.
Yo, that's really cool actually. I really like the part about our mind fluctuating between our memories and our desires.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. And I've actually said at one point I made the discovery that if you hold a fear in your mind long enough, it becomes a desire.
Mm.
As strange as that sounds. But yeah, even in this book that I wrote that you can get on my website, I said, turn on your listening ears. Like,
Mm.
try to turn them on. They're already there. They naturally do it. Or why don't I try to look? Why don't I try you can focus on things, but open up your eyes. You don't need to try to look. You don't need to flex your eyes. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need to like beep boop bop boop
Mm.
like turn on a specific button. Like, they're just on no matter what.
Yeah, indeed. And it's almost like this kind of, our concentration is like almost like a water droplet. It's sort of like it comes and it goes at times, right? It's like drip, drip, drip, drip. So what we want to do when we get into a flow state, like for instance, you want to basically maintain a feedback loop, like from going point A to point B, right? So you want to be like honey from the pot, but it's like an endless stream of honey from the pot. So you want to keep going, basically. You don't want to be that drip of the faucet. You want to be like keep on dripping, like keep on, uh,
Keep on dripping.
keep on dripping. Yeah. You record a song like that. Keep on dripping.
I actually got this new affirmation that I've been saying to myself.
Mhm.
And it's, I am in a perpetual state of love. You know what I mean? Like, you just, like, fuck, bro. If you're in love state, man, like, that's a high ass fucking vibration, dude. You do
True.
everything. You can do anything when you're in love, right?
Yeah.
So,
And there's an important thing to know is like love is different from being in love or like falling in love, right? So when we say love, we mean like oneness, right? It's like you combining with whatever you're doing, that sense of love. But falling in love is like it's an exclusive type beat. You know what I mean? It's like it's an experience by itself. So um, yeah, the vibration of love is like you going towards that thing and like connecting with it. Whereas I feel like falling in love is kind of like that connection too, but there's something different about that experience. Wouldn't you say so?
mm, yeah, I guess you could say it's like, I honestly, I see them both as oneness. But
Mm,
you could be living up in a perpetual state of love and feel
mm,
like a deep connection to everyone around you,
yeah,
but those people not be connected to you,
yeah.
right? Like, I could see a homeless man from across the street and be like, I'm connected to that homeless man.
True,
I
true,
fucking love that guy. Like, look at him. He's fucking a part of my reality and shit. But him not know anything about me, right? And
yeah,
him
yeah.
not be connected to me, you know?
Yeah,
By
and
the
I think
way,
that's it's so interesting how the Greeks have more than one word for love.
yeah.
The Greeks have like, a word for platonic love, a word for puppy love, a word for this love, a word for that. And I think that's really powerful because it's like it's still love, but it's like unity amongst separation, you know?
Mm.
There's a similarity to love, but it's different. My love to, let's say, uh, an ice cream that I'm licking is different to the love that I have for my brother-in-law, let's say, right? You know what I mean? So it's like it's still it's on the same spectrum, but it's a different way of experiencing that consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, we're reaching 46 minutes, so I think it's a good time to conclude. I think we've mentioned so many amazing things, and everyone who listens to this, like, you're on a whole new level right now. You are a father to your own self at this point. You gave birth to yourself. You ejaculated all over your chest, and you were reborn that way.
Daddy's home.
I just want to say, my book is fucking transforming people like left and right. Like, their understanding of who they are, which that's the most important thing. Like on the back it says, to love yourself, you must express yourself. To express yourself, you must accept yourself. To accept yourself, you must know yourself. Knowing yourself is the most important thing. Most important thing. So I do recommend this book called Command Respect.
And it's like they can get on your website too, right? Like IvanAlejandro.com.
Yeah, IvanAlejandro.com.
Awesome.
They didn't have IvanAcosta.com, so I had to go with the longer version.
Right on. Yeah, guys, if you want to connect with me, you know what to do. Verbal Vinyasa on Udemy. Check it out. Peace and love. Keep being father-like. See you guys later.
Everybody, peace out. Peace out.
If you would like to contact Sumedh for peak performance coaching, go to @FlowZone Academy on Instagram. That's FLOZONE Academy. If you would like to connect to your higher self, contact Ivan at odd.resilience. That's ODD.resilience. Also, make sure you follow the Better Man Podcast on Instagram. See you next time.